After I lost all hope, my girlfriend cried and begged me not to leave. I sat at the table, watching the food grow cold, much El Remy, Zena's childhood friend. I opened Remis's also the birthday of Remy, Zena's childhood friend. I opened Remy's Instagram and saw a new post. Grateful to have you by my side every birthday. Let's keep celebrating together for years to come. The photo showed two hands making a heart shape in front of a cake. One of them was Zena's, wearing the necklace I had given her. I liked the post, then put down my phone and dumped all of Zena's favorite dishes I had prepared into the trash. I went out to a restaurant to order my own favorites and celebrate my birthday alone. From now on, I would make each of my birthdays special, for myself. Halfway through my meal, Zena called. Her voice held a hint of anxiety. Ezra, did you see Remy's Instagram post? I did. I'll be back after celebrating with him. I'll spend next year's birthday with you, okay? Don't be upset. In the past, I would have thrown a fit, but not anymore. I simply replied, okay. The next morning, around 7 a.m., I was woken up by my phone ringing. It rang 3 times before cutting off. I checked, it was Zena. She used to be too lazy to use her key, so she'd always call me to let her in, ringing 3 times before hanging up. No matter what I was doing, I would rush to open the door for her. Today, I didn't. I tossed my phone aside and went back to sleep. The spare key was under the shoe rack by the door. She knew that. I had been up until 3 a.m. packing, and my head was still fuzzy. My phone rang a few more times, but I couldn't be bothered to look. Some time later, I vaguely heard someone unlocking the door and coming in. The door slammed against the wall loudly, followed by my bedroom door being flung open and Zena's angry voice. Ezra, why didn't you open the door for me? I called several times. You know I hate using keys. I opened my eyes and looked at her impassively. Too tired. Didn't hear it. Zena opened her mouth, then closed it. Finally, she said, I'm hungry. Get up and make me a sandwich. I didn't sleep all night, and I need to catch up on some rest after I eat. In the past, I would have jumped up to make her breakfast. But now, I just said flatly, I'm tired too. Why don't you go downstairs and buy something? Zena was furious but tried to control herself. Are you still mad about me not being here for your birthday yesterday? No, you're overthinking it. Zena didn't believe me. She continued, Remy is like a brother to me. His parents passed away when he was young. If I don't celebrate his birthday with him, who will? Don't be so petty, or I'll really get angry. You're right. You should celebrate with him. I'm not upset. I got up to go to the bathroom. Zena grabbed my hand and reluctantly pulled out a red string bracelet from her pocket. Here, don't be mad. This is your birthday gift. See? I remembered. Looking at the cheap red string with its dangling metal charm, which seemed so carelessly chosen, and thinking of the expensive watch Remy X, I had thought Zena's recent frugality was to save up for my birthday gift. Apparently, I had been deluding myself. I shook my wrist, showing the watch my mom had sent me a few days ago. Thanks, but I already have a watch. It's not convenient to wear this. You keep it. Zena snapped, you say you're not angry, but you used to be happy with whatever I gave you. Are you getting picky now? Zena's salary wasn't high. Her birthday gifts to me were always cheap, costing a few dollars or tens of dollars at most. Sometimes she even forgot to give me anything. But I never minded. For her birthdays, I always prepared thoughtful gifts. Just a week ago, for her birthday, I had given her a gold necklace. I was tired. I didn't have the energy to argue anymore. I took the red string and put it in my pocket. Thank you. I changed my clothes and opened the door. Zena called out anxiously, where are you going? To play basketball with friends. Since getting together with Zena, all my free time belonged to her. I accompanied her everywhere, took care of her, and had no time left for myself. That wouldn't be the case anymore. I needed to live for myself now. After an exhilarating game with my friends, we sat on the benches by the court, drinking water. My friends joked, we thought you'd forgotten about us since you got a girlfriend. We were about to stop inviting you out. I apologized and promised, I'm sorry, guys. It won't happen again. Count me in for any future plans. That's more like it. Come on, let's go to the internet cafe and play some games. When I was with Zena, I couldn't fit into her Instagram world, but I had slowly distanced myself from my own friends for her sake. One revolved my life around her, prioritizing her above all else. Looking back, I realized how foolish I had been. When I got home, it was almost midnight. I opened the bedroom door to find Zena sitting on the bed. She frowned and said, Ezra, why are you back so late? I had to order takeout for lunch and dinner. It was awful. I opened the closet to get some clean clothes. I ate at restaurants today too. The food was pretty good, not worse than home-cooked meals. Zena stared at me in surprise. You used to say you'd cook for me every day and that I shouldn't eat takeout because it's unhygienic. I was wrong. Living in this society, if you can't cook, you have to get used to takeout food. A flash of anger crossed Zena's eyes. You say you're not angry, but you've been out all day without a single call or message, and you didn't come home to cook for me. I replied calmly, I'm not angry. I was just hanging out with friends. My phone died, so I couldn't call. Seeing my attitude, Zina suddenly threw off the covers and got out of bed angrily. She grabbed me as I was about to leave, her voice shrill. Can't you be more understanding? I've told you we're just like siblings. What are you still upset about? Ezra, my patience has limits. I shook off her hand. I'm really not upset. I'm tired. I'll sleep in the guest room tonight. With that, I took my clothes and went to the bathroom to shower, ignoring Zina's calls from inside the bedroom. That night, I slept soundly for the first time in a long while. Zina was a restless sleeper, kicking off the covers several times a night. When we slept together, I never got a full night's rest, having to get up multiple times to cover her. Early the next morning, Zina sat in the living room with her arms crossed, her face dark with anger. I knew she was waiting for me to apologize first and make her happy. In the past, whenever she was unhappy, I would beg for her forgiveness, even if I didn't think I had done anything wrong. Then she would list a bunch of conditions, and only after I had fulfilled them all would she reluctantly forgive me. This had been the pattern for years, and I was tired of it. I ignored her, got ready, and left. I had important things to do today. I went to the office to submit my resignation letter. My manager was surprised and tried to persuade me to stay, but I insisted on leaving. I had originally taken this job to be close to Zina, to take care of her. But now, that was no longer necessary. Last night, I had a video call with my parents, telling them I was planning to quit my job and return home. I saw the tears of joy in my mom's eyes. My dad's health hasn't been good lately, and he's been struggling to run the small supermarket by himself. When I say home, it's not some remote village, but a coastal city. Zina had always refused to go back with me, saying she wasn't used to the food there. So I left my parents to find work here with her. That evening, I met up with my friends for dinner and told them the news. They all agreed that going back was the right decision, as my parents' health was more important. After a few drinks, someone suddenly asked, "What about Zina? Is she willing to go back with you now?" I was silent for a moment, then smiled bitterly. "No, we'll probably break up. I used to think I could build a home here with Zina, and then bring my parents over later. But now that home was gone, and I was returning to the one with my parents, the one that would never abandon me." When I got back home, I saw Zina wearing a white dress, her black hair flowing loose, face perfectly made up, video chatting with Remy on her phone. Remy's voice came through the speaker. "Snow, you look absolutely gorgeous. Even in a simple white dress, you look like a fairy." Zina giggled, covering her face coyly. "Really? You're still such a sweet talker." I stood there silently. This simple white dress had cost me a month's salary when I bought it for her. Zina turned around, still smiling, but her face fell when she saw me. She quickly told Remy, "I have to go now. I'll be there soon. Have a snack while you wait." Zina could be all smiles and care for Remy, but she couldn't even spare a smile for me. She looked at me with disgust, then walked past me to put on her shoes and leave. She was starting her cold treatment again. In the years we've been together, she often gave me the silent treatment over issues related to Remy. Each time, I would be anxious, trying everything to please her. This time, I wasn't nervous. I just took the groceries wiping to make myself a late-night snack. I had been drinking with my friends earlier and hadn't eaten much, so I was a bit hungry now. Over the next few days, I was busy handing over my work and packing my belongings. My things in the house were gradually disappearing, but Zina didn't notice. Today, Zina went out again to meet Remy. I sat at the dining table, scrolling through my phone while eating. Remy had posted on Instagram, "Whenever I feel lonely, you're always there for me. I'm so grateful." The photo showed Zina and Remy with their heads together, making peace signs at the camera. Zina's girlfriends were all commenting, admiring their relationship. They had always thought Zina should be with Remy, and that I was the third wheel interfering in their relationship. Looking at that Instagram post, I suddenly felt that Zina's friends weren't wrong, they did look more like a couple. In the past, after enduring silently for a long time, I would gently remind Zina to keep some distance from Remy to avoid misunderstandings. Her friends would then mock me for being too controlling, saying I was suffocating Zina and not giving her any freedom to have friends. Zina never defended me. Instead, she joined them in criticizing me, telling me not to restrict her and to give her more freedom. Zina had commented, "You're always there for me too." I exited Instagram without a ripple in my heart and got up to clear the table. Thunder rumbled outside. It was about to rain. I went to the balcony to bring in the laundry, and large raindrops began hitting the windows. In the past, whenever it rained, I would anxiously call Zina to ask where she was and rush out with an umbrella to pick her up, afraid she might get even slightly wet. She and her friends would then laugh at me for being like an old woman, worrying too much and ruining their fun. I showered early and lay in bed scrolling through short videos, eventually falling asleep without realizing it. The sound of Zina forcefully pushing open my bedroom door woke me up. Seeing that I was sleeping, she angrily questioned me. Ezra, it's pouring outside, and your girlfriend isn't home yet. Aren't you worried at all? If it were my friends' boyfriends, they'd be calling nonstop asking where they are and rushing out with umbrellas to pick them up. What about you? I was surprised, not understanding why she was so angry. Once before, when it was raining and she was with Remy, I had called a few times to ask where she was and when she'd be back, offering to pick her up. She had been furious, saying I was worrying unnecessarily, that she was with Remy and he would send her home. She had also accused me of not being able to stand her being with Remy, using the rain as an excuse to make her come home quickly, saying my controlling behavior was suffocating her. Now that I was giving her the freedom she wanted and not worrying, she was questioning why I wasn't going to pick her up. I really didn't understand what she wanted. I replied calmly, "You're with Remy, so I have nothing to worry about. You can stay out longer if you want, he'll naturally send you home." I replied calmly, "You're with Remy, so I have nothing to worry about. You can stay out longer if you want, he'll naturally send you home." Zena stared at me with wide eyes in disbelief, perhaps wondering how I could speak so calmly about Remy and allow them to stay out late together. A moment later, she seemed to think of something and started explaining, "Today is the anniversary of Remy's mother's death. He's very upset, and as his friend, I couldn't bear to leave him alone. Don't misunderstand." I nodded in understanding. "I get it. You should keep him company on days like this." My reasonableness seemed to leave Zena at a loss for words. She looked at my face intently, trying to find even a hint of anger, but found none. Zena softened her voice, "Ezra, I bought a new nightgown. It's black lace. Want to see if it suits me?" I looked at her in surprise. This was tantamount to her actively seeking reconciliation. In the past, she always maintained a high and mighty attitude, only reluctantly making up with me after I had begged countless times. I pretended not to understand her implication and simply said, "No need. If you like it, that's fine. You should go back to your room and sleep. Now." Zena looked at me in disbelief, then stormed off in embarrassment and anger. I got up to close the door myself, then went back to bed. I slept well that night. The next morning, my friend Mike called to invite me to dinner. He had just returned from a business trip and, hearing that I was going back home, wanted to meet up one last time, saying such opportunities would be rare in the future. I felt a pang in my heart as I listened, and agreed. Before hanging up, he added, "Oh, bring Zena along too. I won't call her separately." Right, Mike wasn't just my friend, but Zena's friend too. He had introduced us initially. But this meant I couldn't keep my return home a secret anymore. I hadn't finished dealing with everything and didn't want any complications. After hanging up, I saw Zena coming out. I hesitated for a moment, then looked up and said to her, "Mike wants to invite us to dinner tonight." She looked at me hesitantly, about to speak when her phone rang. I don't know what the person on the other end said, but Zena responded soothingly, "Remy, don't worry. It won't be lost. I'll come over right away to help you look." Zena hung up the phone and hurriedly walked towards the door, changing her shoes swiftly while telling me, "Ezra, Remy has an emergency and needs my help. You go to dinner by yourself tonight. I won't be going. Let Mike know for me." That evening, at a local barbecue place, just as Mike and I clinked our beer glasses, Zena walked in with Remy beside her. When our eyes met, Zena looked surprised and embarrassed. Remy, next to her, gave me a challenging smile. "Become Evil Dead of SVP Tories." Zena walked over, looking a bit uncomfortable. "What a coincidence, you guys are here too." Remy pretended to apologize. Snow saw I was hungry and said she'd bring me here to eat. "We're not disturbing you, are we?" Mike seemed to have forgotten that Zena had declined the dinner invitation. He enthusiastically invited them to join us and called the waiter to add a few more dishes. Zena wanted to sit next to me, but I got up and moved to sit beside Mike, leaving the seats opposite for her and Remy. Zena's friends were right, she and Remy did look more compatible. I shouldn't get in their way. Zena's face showed a hint of nervousness. She tried to explain to me several times but was interrupted. I chatted with Mike about old times, my phone constantly buzzing with notifications. I took a moment to check my phone. Ezra, don't misunderstand. Jonas messages from Zena. Brought Remy here after helping him find his stuff. He suddenly wanted barbecue. I really didn't know you guys would be here. If you don't like it, I won't do this. Gang, shall we go home together after dinner? I replied, "No need. You and Remy can leave first after eating. I want to chat more with Mike." I put down my phone and focused on talking to Mike, ignoring Zena's subsequent messages. After a few drinks, Mike got drunk. He put his arm around me, his eyes red. "Why are you suddenly going back home? You're my best friend in this city. Who will drink with me when you're gone?" I felt a lump in my throat, my eyes welling up. "My parents are getting older and their health isn't good. I need to go back and take care of them. Isn't your company expanding to coastal areas? When you come on a business trip to my city, I'll treat you to drinks." Mike didn't say anything more, just raised his glass to toast me again. Zena seemed to have heard something unbelievable. She stared at me in shock. She asked Mike incredulously, "Mike, what did you just say? Who's going back home?" Mike, in his drunken state, took a moment to respond, your Ezra is going back home. Don't you know? I invited you guys to dinner today to see him off. Zena suddenly stood up and pulled me to a corner. I leaned against the wall, silently meeting her gaze. Her eyes were red, with tears welling up. After a moment, Zena spoke with a trembling voice. When did you decide to go back home? Why didn't you discuss it with me? I lowered my head, clenching my fist to stop myself from wiping away her tears. I decided on my birthday when I video called my parents. You were out celebrating Remy's birthday all night, so I didn't want to disturb you. A look of panic flashed across Zena's face. She stepped forward and grabbed my hand. Whatever the reason, I'm your girlfriend. You should tell me first whenever you decide to do anything. I looked at her in surprise. In the past, I would always tell her first about anything I wanted to do. I thought this was respect, but Zena was always impatient. She would say, can't you be more decisive? Why do you have to ask me about everything? I'm not your mother. Zena took a deep breath and asked tentatively, how long are you planning to stay there? I hesitated for a moment, then decided to keep it from her for now. I plan to go back for a few months first. Zena exclaimed in surprise, why so long? I lowered my head and remained silent. Finally, Zena sighed and stopped waiting for my answer. She just looked at me expectantly and said, let's go home together later. I instinctively wanted to refuse, but Remy came over. He reeked of alcohol. He grabbed Zena's hand naturally. Snow, why did you come over here? Let's go buy some new bedding after dinner. Zena looked at me guiltily, trying to free her hand from Remy's grip but failing. She carefully explained, we grew up together and are used to interacting like this. It's just like siblings, nothing more. I nodded understandingly. I understand. Remy shook her hand again and said, I had a few extra drinks and my head spinning. Just come with me to buy and change the bedding. I threw up on the bed last night and messed it up. If I don't change it, I won't have anywhere to sleep tonight. Zena looked at him helplessly. Stop shaking. I'll go with you. Zena once told me she hated people who drank. In the past, if I had even a sip of alcohol, she wouldn't let me near her, let alone help me change sheets I had vomited on. Apparently, when the drinker was Remy, she didn't mind. Zena turned to me, Ezra, chat with Mike for a while longer. Wait for me here, I'll just help him buy the sheets and change them, then I'll come right back to go home with you. I took a step back and said flatly, no need. He needs you more than I do. I'll call a cab home later. Zena tried to hold me back, but I dodged her and walked back to the table. I said goodbye to Mike and called cabs for both of us. Before getting into the cab, the drunk Mike sobered up for a moment. He patted my shoulder and said, Zena has gone too far. Her relationship with Remy must have hurt you, right? I'm sorry, buddy. I shouldn't have introduced you two back then. My throat tightened, and a few tears fell. I quickly turned away to hide them. Over the years, Zena had abandoned me for Remy countless times. I thought I was used to it by now. Mike's words instantly pierced through the shell I thought I had built so well. It turns out, I could still feel pain. Once, Zena and I had many beautiful memories together. But these memories had gradually faded with the increasing arguments over Remy. I composed myself and turned back to him with a smile. Mike, it's not your fault. Mike sighed and said, it's not your fault either. Try to move on. I nodded and helped him into the car, watching as it drove away, just like my past with Zena. I had just gotten home when Zena called. Ezra, Remy's stomach is upset. I can't come back tonight. I need to stay and take care of him. This was the first time Zena had ever notified me about not coming home. In the past, whenever I asked who she was with or when she'd be back, she would fly into a rage, feeling that I was trying to control her. Each time, I had to beg and plead for a long time before she would calm down. This time, I didn't ask anything more. I just quietly replied, okay. Zena explained further, his stomach is bad. If I don't take extra care of him, he might end up in the hospital. Don't overthink it. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Once again, I responded calmly, okay. Zena seemed to want to say more, but Remy's voice called out to her from the other end. Zena quickly added, don't overthink it. As soon as his stomach feels better, I'll come right back, before hurriedly hanging up. I looked at my phone and chuckled softly. My emotions had been running high tonight, and I had drunk a bit more with Mike. Now my head was spinning and I felt nauseous. I was drunk too. I couldn't help but go to the bathroom and throw up several times before I felt a bit better, but then my stomach started to hurt. That's when I remembered that my stomach wasn't in great shape either. I had drunk too quickly tonight, forgetting to eat something first to line my stomach. I struggled to find some stomach medicine, too impatient to wait for hot water, and swallowed it with cold water before lying down on the bed. That night, I tossed and turned uncomfortably, unable to sleep until dawn when I finally dozed off for a bit. The next day, Zena didn't return until the afternoon. When she came in, I was cleaning the house. It had been a bit messy for a few days. Zena unusually came over offering to help. Let me help you. I looked at her strangely and shook my head. No need. I'm almost done. Since we got together, I had been doing all the housework. She never lifted a finger. Zina lowered her hand that was reaching for the broom, glancing at me furtively. She said somewhat awkwardly, Remy's stomach is bad. He never takes care of himself, so it hurts from time to time. I was up all night taking care of him. I'm exhausted. I nodded in agreement. That must have been tiring. Zina looked embarrassed, probably not expecting me to be so calm and not argue. After a while, she anxiously asked, Ezra, I've been thinking. Why don't I go back home with you? I looked at her in surprise. In the past, during long holidays, I had suggested she come back home with me, but she always firmly refused. She would complain that the train journey was too long, or that she got airsick on planes. Sometimes she'd say she wasn't used to the food, or that the language barrier would make communication difficult. She always had an excuse to decline. If this had happened before, I would have been overjoyed, immediately helping her pack and booking flight tickets. But now, I just calmly refused, no need. You have work to do. I'm not sure how long I'll be staying, so don't trouble yourself. The smile on Zina's lips froze. She said awkwardly, then I'll wait for you to come back. I didn't respond. Zina then asked, it's my friend's birthday tonight. Why don't you come along? I looked at her in surprise again. She had never included me in her friends' gatherings before. Her friends all looked down on me, so she always took Remy to these gatherings instead. I declined, no, thanks. They won't be happy if I go. A flash of discomfort crossed Zina's face. How could that be? You're my boyfriend. They won't mind. I looked at her silently until she lowered her head guiltily. I remembered once when her friend openly mocked me for being inferior to Remy in every way. I had turned to her helplessly for support. She had carelessly said, you really can't compare to Remy, but since you're my boyfriend, you should figure out how to get along with my friends on your own. Don't always expect me to help. But in reality, her friends' attitudes depended entirely on how she treated me. If she had respected me, they wouldn't have dared to treat me that way. I tied up the garbage bag, ready to take it downstairs. I'm busy tonight. Why don't you ask Remy to go with you? Zina looked at me in disbelief, seemingly never imagining that I would refuse her and suggest she take Remy instead. She grabbed me as I was about to leave, anxiously asking, where are you going tonight? Let me come with you. I explained, I've finished handing over my work, so I don't need to go to the office tomorrow. I want to have dinner with some close colleagues tonight to say goodbye. You'd better go to your friend's birthday party. After hearing this, Zina didn't insist on coming with me anymore. She just tentatively asked, if you're not going, should I really invite Remy then? I smiled and nodded. Go ahead and invite him. Zina carefully searched my face for any signs of jealousy, but she was bound to be disappointed. You're really not jealous at all? She couldn't help but ask. I found it strange. Hadn't she always hated it when I got jealous before? Now that I wasn't jealous as she had wished, she seemed uncomfortable. What's there to be jealous about? You said you're just like siblings. Besides, he gets along better with your friends. It's normal for you to go together. Zina opened her mouth but ultimately said nothing. She just reminded me, come back early. If you drink, call me and I'll pick you up. I thought for a moment and agreed. I was sure to drink tonight, and if she was willing to pick me up, that would save me the trouble of getting a cab. After the dinner, I called Zina. There was loud music and laughter in the background on her end. I hesitated before speaking, I'm done here. Are you not finished yet? Maybe I should just get a cab home. Zina quickly stopped me, no. I said I'd pick you up. Wait for me a bit, I'll let them know. Letting anyone touch him. He keeps calling for you. Hurry up. Zina hesitated and asked me, Ezra, can you wait a bit longer? I need to send Remy home first. I forced a smile and said understandingly, it's fine. Go take care of him. I'll get a cab home. Zina anxiously explained, Ezra, don't worry. After I send him home, I'll come right back. Nothing will happen between us. I know. Go ahead. I'm going to call a cab now. After hanging up, I went straight home in a cab, showered, and lay down in bed. Then my phone rang. It was Zina calling. I answered, but before I could speak, I heard Remy's whining voice on the other end, Snow, don't go. My stomach hurts. Help me rub it. Zina's voice sounded helpless, Remy, stop it. I need to go back. Ezra is waiting for me at home. Let him wait. It's not like he hasn't waited before. Snow, my stomach really hurts. Do you want me to die in pain? Zina sighed, you're impossible. Is it here? Does it feel better when I rub like this? Yes, right there. It's feeling a bit better. Keep rubbing for a while longer. I listened expressionlessly to this point, then hung up the phone that was probably accidentally dialed. I scrolled through some videos before turning off my phone and going to sleep. Zina didn't come back all night. She returned home close to noon the next day. After changing her shoes and coming in, she walked up to me and explained, last night after sending Remy home, his stomach acted up again. I took care of him until very late, so I didn't come back. I just slept on his couch. I responded with an indifferent and continued looking at my phone. She came over to hold my hand, but I avoided her. Zena finally couldn't bear it anymore and said emotionally, "Ezra, I really can't stand your cold attitude anymore. Can we talk properly? Isn't this good?" I was confused. Wasn't this what she had always wanted, for me not to interfere too much in her life? Why was she unhappy now? Zena seemed to have found her own answer. "Are you treating me like this because of Remy?" I remained silent. She gritted her teeth and said, "If you don't like me being in contact with him, I can cut ties with him. Just don't be like this anymore, okay?" Zena looked at me expectantly, her eyes pleading. In the past, no matter how much I argued, she would never agree to cut ties with Remy. Now she was offering it so easily. The thing I had most hoped for over the years was about to be achieved, yet I felt nothing. I said impassively, "No need. Who you're friends with is your right. I have no say in it." Zena looked anxious. "Ezra, do you not believe that I'll really cut ties with Remy? I'll call him right now." With that, Zena took out her phone and dialed Remy's number, putting it on speaker. Soon, Remy answered the call. "Snow, are you home? Missing me already?" Zena looked at me in panic and quickly scolded, "Remy, stop talking nonsense. I'm calling to tell you that we shouldn't be in contact anymore. My boyfriend doesn't like it." Remy shouted in disbelief, "Snow, what do you mean? How can you do this to me for that petty Ezra?" Zena emphasized again, "He's my boyfriend. Don't talk about him like that. Let's not contact each other anymore. That's it." She quickly hung up the phone and didn't answer despite it ringing continuously. Zena looked at me pleadingly, "Ezra, see? I really cut ties with Remy. Don't be angry anymore. Let's be good to each other from now on, okay?" I was shocked, never expecting her to be so decisive. I had originally planned to bring up the breakup on the day I left, but now I had to do it earlier. I slowly began, "Zena, you don't need to do this. I think we should." Zena suddenly rushed forward and covered my mouth, stopping the words "break up" from coming out. Her lips trembled, tears falling one by one. In the past, seeing her cry would break my heart. I would anxiously wipe away her tears and comfort her until she smiled again. But now, I didn't raise my hand to wipe her tears. I just looked at her silently. "Ezra, I'll go back home with you." Zena said this and then tightly hugged my waist, pressing her face against my chest. Soon, that area was wet with her tears. I thought I had protected my heart well enough, but at this moment, it still ached unbearably. I slowly raised my hands to push her away, struggling to speak. "I'm sorry, Zena. Let's break up." Zena hugged me tighter, shaking her head as she sobbed, "No, Ezra, I won't break up. I don't want to be apart from you." I smiled bitterly, "You should be happy. From now on, no one will bother you and make you feel unfree." Zena was in tears, begging, "No, I was wrong, Ezra. Can we not break up? I won't say you're controlling me anymore, and I won't contact Remy. Please give me another chance, please." I hardened my heart and said, "Zena, don't be like this. We're from two different worlds, and now we're just returning to our own worlds. I'm really tired after these years." I pried her hands off me and retreated to my room, leaving Zena wailing outside without coming out again. The next day, I opened my bedroom door with my suitcase in hand. I saw Zena lying asleep on the couch, her face still streaked with tears. I picked up a thin blanket nearby and gently covered her, silently saying, "Goodbye." As I waited at the station, Zena called. Her voice was anxious and panicked. "Ezra, where did you go? Why are your things gone?" I hadn't wanted to answer the phone, but in the end, I softened. After all, she was someone I had once loved deeply. My throat tightened. "Zena, I've left. I wish you all the best in the future." Zena cried out, "Ezra, how can I be well when you're gone? Where are you? Don't go. Wait for me to come with you. Take care." After saying this, I hung up the phone. The phone kept ringing, but I didn't answer. Then messages started coming in continuously. "Are you at the train station? I'm coming right away, wait for me. I'm here, where are you?" I didn't reply. I dragged my suitcase and queued to enter the station. The moment I stepped through the entrance, I heard a heart-wrenching cry from behind the crowd, "Ezra." My body stiffened, but I only paused for a moment before continuing forward. A few days later, I was counting inventory at the entrance of my family's supermarket. A trembling, tearful voice sounded behind me, "Ezra." I stopped what I was doing and slowly turned around. It was Zena. She looked much more haggard after just a few days. "You weren't just coming back for a few months, were you?" I nodded gently, "That's right. I'm not going back." Zena's eyes were red-rimmed as she choked out, "Why did you lie to me?" I smiled bitterly, "You've lied to me countless times before. I only lied to you this once." Over the past few years, Zena had told so many lies for Remy's sake that I had lost count. These lies used to hurt me deeply. Now, was she feeling the same way I once did? Zena cried and begged, "Ezra, can I move here to be with you?" I closed my eyes briefly. When I opened them again, My voice was as firm as steel. When disappointment accumulates too much, it turns into despair. We can't go back, Xena. Let's part ways amicably. I watched Xena's lonely, desolate figure grow smaller in the distance, just like the fading memories in my mind, until they disappeared completely. From now on, we would each continue our journey in our own worlds, but without each other.